Well, love is in the air, but secrets are hidden all around. 39% of US adults who are married, in a civil partnership, or living with a partner have kept a financial secret from their current partner. That's according to Bankrate. And interestingly, younger generations are more likely to report being financially unfaithful, with a majority of Gen Zers and millennials saying they've kept secrets about money from their partners. Well, joining us now is Black Wealth Financial Advisor Jamilah McCluney. She's created a game to help couples start these discussions about money in a fun, low-key, no-pressure way. Good to have you on the show, Jamilah. I love this idea of doing this as a game because talking about money, talking about your own finances, let alone having to share that with somebody else, that's tough. So talk about why you decided to create this game and what you're really hoping to achieve here.
Oh, I created this. Well, I've been a financial advisor for about 12 years now. And I remember going to see couples, and I went to see a married couple, and the wife said, "Look, my husband doesn't know how much money I make, so don't mention it to him when he comes." And I was thinking, wow, and I work with couples, and it's usually one of the couples wants to talk about it and work together. The other party in the couple just doesn't want to discuss the money. So there's a lot of secrets going on. And I realized that people aren't having the conversations about money that they should have. So knowing that communication, infidelity, and money issues are the top reasons for divorce, I said, I have to do something about it. Let me make a conversational game that's fun, that people can have the conversations that they should be having.
And are you surprised that when it comes to a very vital relationship, your relationship with your finances, that people are still really tight-lipped about it, even in terms of asking themselves some of these questions? Because some of these very insightful things like, have you done anything embarrassing for money? I don't know how many people are going to admit to that, but these are the sort of things that, one day when you apply for a job or something, that might come up. Why do you think we have such a hard time, I guess from a behavioral economics perspective, in really understanding our relationship with money?
I think there's shame associated with it. And we're in an era where everything is shown, being better than what it is, Instagram, TikTok. So people want to present well. And there's just a lot of shame and uncertainty around how they'll be perceived if they're honest about what's going on in their finances.
So I'm going to start with some of the cards here. I'll start with one that's not too painful. So here's one that says, how do you feel about the gifts I buy you? I don't know how likely you are to get into an argument about that. And the other one there is, what are you afraid to tell me about your finances or financial situation? I mean, these are some tough ones. First of all, talk about the gifts one. What does that question help people understand about their finances and how they relate to each other?
I think sometimes people overspend. Maybe we just looked at the stats for how much people are spending this Valentine's Day. Maybe you don't have $200 to spend, but you're charging or borrowing or doing something so that you can impress the other person. So, or maybe your gifts are too cheap and I don't like them. So we need to talk about that so I can get what I want.
I love that one. Another one, what's a financial deal breaker in our relationship? How aware are people of these financial deal breakers, and what sort of tend to be the kind of answers that come up?
I think excessive debt is a big one. I don't think people are really aware of it as how it would affect them until they actually think about it. And it's important to think about that because, when you get married, your debt, joins. So how much debt do you have? How's your credit score? What have you been doing with your money? Do you have any money? Do you have any savings? So those things are important.
And when you think about things that people ask, another one is, how would you describe my relationship with money? So this is how the other person views your spending. And that could be tough because, I've been guilty of, hiding a few bags in the back of the car or pulling something out slowly and putting it in the closet later on saying, I've had that for ages. But it's really a trust issue as well. So what does that mean in terms of how we're conditioned to think about our financial relationships? And because it even affects how we spend, how we invest as well.
Yeah, I think we don't know how the other person's going to feel or if we're going to be judged for the things that we spend. Usually there's big differences between what your partner might think is important to spend money on and what you might think is important to spend money on. So keeping it secret is just an easier way to go. Or like you said, hiding those bags in the back of the closet and bringing them out at an appropriate time is just a little easier than maybe having those conversations up front.
Well, clearly the discussions do need to be had. This is great stuff. And this is whether you're single, dating, in a committed relationship. Definitely some questions we should all be asking ourselves. Thank you for joining me this morning. Financial advisor Jamilah McCluney, thank you so much.